watch what I say or be like around eggshells around her. Like, you know what I mean? I felt like that for like the last couple of years now. Like maybe let's say like 6 or 7. Oh God, nobody in the 6, 7. Shut the fuck up, bro. Hate that shit. You know, so stupid.
Mad Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. You wet Prada, the devil like inside your box now. While the angels fly over my headstone.
We are back with another episode of the God's Hour podcast with your boy Big Sorbavelli, back in a place to be, La Merca Superior Palace 81 Studios, which we are live in effect, live and direct. It's your boy Mr. 9 Times. Yeah, man. Today's mathematics, it is Friday, March 20th, which means it is understanding and cipher all being born to fuck, my bad. It's wisdom and fucking God damn it. I'm sorry, y'all. It's wisdom and cipher all being born to wisdom. So the more we use our wisdom and our wise words into our inner circle, the more we get that back. Remember, reciprocity, whatever the fuck, fucking whatever. Like, you get what you give. You know, you like. It's basically like the theme of today. So if I use my wisdom to kind of like connect with the people, places, and things around me, then I'm going to get some of that wisdom back. But it could be as simple as like, you know, if we help somebody, if we're trying to walk across the street to the next block, but we don't know, like on the way, let's say we get lost, but we meet somebody from the area that is unfamiliar with where we just came from. You know, hey man, how do I get to 23rd Street? Oh, that's easy, bro. You just make a left right here. You go down 2 blocks and then you make a right and you're on 23rd. How do I get to 38th Street? Oh man, you just you fucked up. You're on the next street over, but go cut through this alley and go fucking up, and then you'll hit 38th Street. You know, we use our wise words into our cipher to get the wisdom back. Peace. Today's drip check, we have the I forgot. These are just the Chicagos, right? The Chicago Jordan 1 lows. I mean, very rare. This is like, you'll probably never see me wear Jordan 1s again on camera. But I love these for whatever reason. They're kind of half-assed, like Ronald McDonald clown-ass shoes, like just red, big fucking shoes, red and white. And then the check is big. It kind of reminds me of like a Nike Dunk. I really like this a lot. The black laces. These are very, very flat and very unforgiving shoes to wear. I don't see myself wearing these out at all. But, you know, here they are. I always forget which ones are my 511s and which ones are my 514s. I like 514 jeans, but 511s are right there. They're kind of like a similar but different cut. One of them is like kind of like that stretchy kind of material versus, and I think these are the ones that are the stretchy material. Like it feels like you could stretch them out versus the other ones just feel like straight like jeans. You know, they don't have the stretchy material. I have the Imperial Year of the Snake white tank top. You know, the back of the back of the tank top is with the snake with the red, and it matches with the shoes. I wish I could show you, but you know, I don't know if when I get up you'll see it on camera. So just take my word for it, the outfit matches. I wouldn't wear no shit that don't match on a podcast unless I was fucking going fucking psychotic. North Face jacket. This is usually like my work jacket, but since we're in a fucking heat wave, I don't think there's any mosquitoes and shit like that outside right now. because we're like in a heat wave and it's abrupt. Usually mosquito season is pretty much, it don't start till around June and it don't end till about like October, November. Mosquito season is kind of like one of those things where it's kind of summer and fall. And but you know, the gnats aren't kind of seasonal. Gnats kind of just come out, and then the flies are always out here. But kind of, we have the pond obviously, and the pond has its own like aquatic, not economy, but what is that other shit? It's not economy, geological. Goddamn, how do you say that shit? Has its own thing going on, right? So the pond attracts mosquitoes, dragonflies, spiders, shit like that. Unfortunately, fucking like storks and hawks and shit. There's actually like, I could see it right now. The tower, the electrical tower, has the fucking the hawk's nest, and I think the hawks have for sure fucking try to take one of the fishes, because one of our fishes is scarred up, and I feel like that's really deterred the hawks from trying to get one of the fishes. Like they see that, oh, like they can't fucking I don't think hawks can eat fish. They probably could, but maybe not. Maybe it's just the way that this shit is set up, because like we have like a couple palm trees here that kind of block the nest, like the line of sight for the eagles. The eagles, what the fuck? Why did I say eagles? The fucking hawks would have to fly around and fucking like do some other shit. Like there's shit here like around the pond that kind of like you'd have to fucking shimmy out that shit for a hawk to pick it up, and then it's like they'd have to swoop down and take it, and then like I don't know. Our fishes are pretty like smart, and like when they talk about like generational trauma and shit, like I feel like our koi fish are very smart creatures, and the one that they try to get is definitely like third generation in the pond. We have Hera. It's two sons, which I named Apollo, and I forgot the other one. But then let's just say Apollo's son or daughter. I don't know. We don't know the gender of the koi fishes. You don't know until like about 3 to 5 years. Well, if it's gonna be male or female, and that's like that's Hera's grandbaby that got hit, and it was really sad to me, because it's like if the fish loses one of its fins, then it can die, or it will die, because it won't be able to swim. I don't know how long ago I was documenting one of our fishes that has dropsy. But this fucking fish is a soldier. I'm glad I didn't euthanize the fish, because it's still able to swim. It's not kind of like, if it was just sitting on the bottom of the pond, then yeah, I would consider euthanizing it. But it still swims around. Even though it kind of likes chilling in one area, it'll still swim around. You know, every day I always check to see if it's still good, still alive, still healthy. I maintain my pond every day. But it's just one of those interesting things that I think about with the pond, the lineage, and basically our pond now is kind of a mix between obviously our OG fish, like our Shiro Itsuri are all like right there. But I think so we have Hades, Kratos, and I think that's it. Hades and Kratos are the only fish that I've bought in the last couple of years. I feel like I bought Kratos last year or some shit like that. No, Hades and Kratos were here around the same time. But you know, it's just an interesting thing when you look at like when I look at the pond, and one fish I forgot about, because I think they had 4 babies. They had our golden one, which looks like Athena, which is beautiful. I think we have 2 females, because of how big they are compared to the other 2. The other 2 are kind of smaller. We have one that's like, okay, so we have actually 4, right? 2 look like they're fucking Kratos' babies. 1 looks like Apollo's, and 1 looks like, I don't know. They're all definitely Hera's babies though, but we don't know. Like the fathers are different for sure. 2 of them look like they're Kratos because one looks like orange with like black spots on it, and then the other one is the opposite, is black with like orange spots. One looks like a Shiro Itsuri, the one that the Hawk hit, and then one looks like Athena. It's gold, and we don't even have a gold. Like I don't know if they're like considered platinum Matsuba. I know those are like more chrome, like more metallic, like silver, white, that type of shit. But it's just an interesting thing. Our pond is fucking small for like the fish that we have here. It's like I think a 600-gallon fucking pond, and for sure we have more than one female. So I don't know how that shit works. I think we have 18. That's like the number in my head, but 18 is definitely like way too much for a pond this size. I don't see them making any more babies, but it just depends. Like Kratos was like fucking was not waiting around. Like as soon as Kratos probably got in there with Hera, he was probably like, yeah, you're fucking, you know what I mean? I'm making babies with you and shit. It's hilarious. Like the way like koi fish are. It's very interesting to me. I love taking care of the pond. For all my like koi fish lovers out there, this is the episode for you. I didn't even intentionally come on here. I have like so much old shit, you know. This is finally one of those episodes where you're caught up on like kind of my life. Everything is kind of like was ahead of time, but this is like, you know, a week in advance for everybody else, which is pretty wild. I had so many episodes lined up and I was just dropping 2 at a time. This wasn't planned or anything, but going back to the pond, yeah, it was like we started with like a whole mix of different like aquatic animals. Like fucking, we had turtles, we had goldfish, we had like a mix of shit. You know what I mean? Those bottom feeder fish that just they're chilling in the bottom eating all the shit. And I would imagine they probably got eaten by the other fish, or I don't know because that's like before 2020, like fucking like 2 or some shit like that, 2022 or 3, let's say 23. Before that, my pops was just taking care of the pond, but now like I've been on it like every day for like, you know, the past 3 years now, and I'm the caretaker of the pond, and I was kind of slipping on the weeks of getting it maintained, but I'm on top of that now. You know, and I honestly wish I could dig like a fucking the pond all the way out and just give it a nice big pond. The problem with that is like, number one, that's really expensive just to do that. Number two, we can't keep the fucking fishes in no kiddie pool because that shit easily take like 2 weeks. You know, that's way too long to put a family of 18 koi fish like in a kiddie pool. If we did it in one day, I'm pretty sure it you know would be fucking. I think the risk would be very low. But at this point, like this is our family and shit. My mom's talked about selling some fish or some shit like that, and it's kind of like, nah, we're gonna stay with what we have, and I think that's probably the best choice of what we could do. We would have to do, honestly, I've thought about this. We'd have to do some shit like make like a separate pond, and then kind of like, you know, when it's finished, like somehow connect it, like make like a little fucking like a connector between the 2 ponds, but have a whole separate different pond for them to go through. You know what I mean? Like have like a fucking little way from one pond to the next. But like I said, like that costs a lot of money, and 2, I don't know if that would work. How would that happen? Like with the lining of the fucking, you know what I mean? You don't just say, oh, let me make a pond. Like this shit it takes a lot of knowledge, it takes a lot of capital, and it takes a lot of like, you know, even if you do make it, like I don't know if like we'll attract more storks, hawks, if we're gonna have to put like fish like that fucking netting over the fucking, you know, build like a canopy over so no fucking birds will try to get in it. Like it's a very, you know, a pond. It take fucking a lot more than just let me dig a hole, fill it with water, and throw some fish in it, and I have a pond. You know, there's a whole thesis statement about this shit that, you know, I don't see us like handling and shit. Who the fuck keeps hitting me up, bro? I hate this shit. Someone texted me right now, and who can it be? Let me see. Cool. Sweet. So I just got approved for overtime. Shout out to the homie. Let me text him back. Thank you. Yeah. Let me see. All right. So it was my dad's birthday. Probably. Was it? No. It was 2 weeks ago. My pop's birthday was 2 weeks ago, 2 Saturdays ago, or some shit like that. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know if I ever covered that. Like my pop's birthday. We didn't do anything that day. We went and had dinner with my sister last Friday, and it was cool. You know what I mean? I love my sister, but obviously it's like one of those things where it's like, my sister has her own way of like thinking and believing in the world and all that shit, and that's fine. You know what I mean? I don't really particularly care how she thinks when it comes to like being like having a misconception in her mind about like me or my parents or whatever, because it's kind of like, obviously when she's around, she's only really there for my pop, and number one, and then number two is kind of like I feel like I have to watch what I say or be like around eggshells around her, like, you know what I mean? I felt like that for like the last couple of years now, like maybe let's say like 6 or 7. Oh God, nobody in the 6, 7. Shut the fuck up, bro. Hate that shit. So stupid. But I just feel like with my sister, it's kind of like she's just like a shell of who she used to be or who she really is. You know what I mean? She reminds me like kind of a lot of what I used to be, just like, always like moody and high and shit like that. And that's a horrible combination to be when you're just always like sad and stuff and you don't deal with it. The only way you deal with it is by getting high. It's so silly to me. And for like a lot of people, it's like, yeah, you could be like a high functioning marijuana smoker and shit like that, but I just feel like when you use it specifically to kind of like, we all escape somehow. Some of us do it by sleeping, eating, exercise. Some people do it positively, some do it negatively. It doesn't have to be black or white. It could be gray, It could be just like something you do handle, but then like you can't handle, but then you handle it. Like I feel like with me, I have like a good balance of that, to where I know where the line is. Like I know where to draw the line with me, like emotionally. Like I have a good I have like good emotional intelligence to just be like, okay, like this shit ain't working. Let me deal with it my own way. And I used to always kind of like fucking be on some like different shit, like, oh, maybe I'm compartmentalizing. You know what I mean? Like when you read shit on the internet and like you box yourself, like, oh, I'm like half sociopathic, or I'm a fucking high functioning depressive motherfucker. I'm I'm a middle functioning anxiety-ac or some shit like that. And it's like, what does that even mean, bro? Like I found myself like boxing myself in, or trying to marginalize myself into these categories that like aren't true. You know what I mean? As human beings, we're like complex, and you do run into people like that. You do run into people who are either bipolar, schizophrenic, or like my grandmother, rest in peace, she had dementia. My other grandma, dementia, Alzheimer's. Like you do see like those clear like black and white type of shits, but also too at the same time it's kind of like why are you boxing? Like why are you doing that to yourself? You know what I mean? Me, it's kind of like I feel like I've done a good job at kind of monitoring my emotions and just trying to like be there for myself in a way that I wasn't like years ago. You know what I mean? Like I was freaking the fuck out today. Like, I don't know why, I think I was kind of like in some sort of like, I was just getting like heavy anxiety, you know what I mean? And I was just like being like hella emotional because I'm working a lot. And then I'm like really tired, and I just feel like my mom like doesn't really care about fucking, my sleep and shit like that, because she'll be fucking, you know, I work like 12 hours every, like, more than half of my week, and then I fell asleep like at 5 in the morning, and there these people are like at 9 in the morning, like cleaning and shit. So I felt like I only got like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and it was horrible, man. And I was just trying to like chill with my dad, and then that shit like kind of like went. It didn't go left, but it was just like, we had to like handle business. So it's just like one of those things. Like I wanted to just chill and record and do the podcast, and that didn't really happen because I didn't really get any sleep. I got groceries. I had to fucking go take care of business at the bank. I was tired. I came home. I slept. I woke up. I took Presley for a walk, and now I'm fucking here doing a podcast. So it's like, I don't know if I should. And then also too, I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I should stop like doing a podcast like just for 1 week or something like that. But then it's kind of like, I wouldn't even have been able to record even if I didn't do a podcast. And then this is kind of like halfway therapy for me. So it's like, I don't know. I really don't know like what to do kind of right now. But I have a lot of songs to record. I am working on a new album. I do have a lot of things lined up. It's just right now, like, my hands are a little tied. So, like, in my life right now, it's kind of like, oh, and then also, too, like, with my grandmother and shit, I was just sad. Like, I told my mom, like, I'm sad. You know what I mean? I just feel it, like, in my chest. Like, the grief is just there. It's kind of, like, low, you know what I mean? Like, it's probably, like, a quarter in a cup. But it's still like fucking, it's hard, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like I was like my grandma's favorite grandson, and I felt like with my grandmothers, it was like a special thing to me because like my parents weren't really like there for me, like my grandmothers, you know what I mean? It was more specifically my grandma Paco, but my abuelita Lola that just passed away, it was like, I could tell she had like that glimmer in her eye. Every time I would see her, she would love to see me when we would go visit. We visited Mexicali like fucking all the time as a kid. We would go like at least once a year, sometimes twice a year. Either, I remember always going in the summer though, or some shit like that. So it'd either always be like probably for like my grandma's birthday and then my tia Mago's birthday or some shit like that. It was always like we would go there a lot of the times, like to celebrate somebody's birthday or like some shit like that, but I do remember going and seeing my grandma all the time. She would fucking make they're quesadillas, but they're like empanada de queso pretty much, you get what I mean? So she would do like kind of like one string slice of fucking jalapeno. She would fucking make the mozzarella. She didn't make it from scratch, but she kind of like had this, like she would make it a certain way. She had like the dry mozzarella, and she would put it in the water and like, like make it by hand. And then she would put it in, she would fucking, I remember her patting down the masa and making the empanada, like just the quesadillas by hand, and then frying them, making French fries, fucking. When my grandfather was still alive, he would have ham and eggs and coffee. That's what he would always order over here when he was here. That's all he knew how to say: ham and eggs and coffee. I'm pretty sure he didn't even have fucking. Because from my mom told me he was always super healthy, so he probably didn't even have like, I love caramel macchiatos and shit. Like an American thing is like fucking, what is it? Brown sugar lattes or fucking. Pumps of like whatever, chocolate, vanilla syrup and all that. I'm pretty sure my grandfather was on some just black coffee, ham and eggs. It's one of those things where Mexico was just super different. It's a different country, it's a different culture, and it's a different type of people. I'm kind of sad with this whole like mental shit going on, because it's kind of like, there's a lot of weird shit going on with the whole Cesar Chavez shit and all that. I'm gonna get to that in a little bit. I feel like I'm gonna go like a couple different places here. Like I said, I don't really have like, fucking a whole script for y'all. This ain't a scripted show, but yeah, I remember when I was a kid, like my grandfather, he would yell for my tia Mago, 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 and he would be in his like special, like, I don't know, they're kind of like hospital bed type shits where it's like, you know, it's like fucking, I don't know, it's not Tempur-Pedic, but it's real squishy. The beds, you know, they compress real easy. They're kind of like just like hospital bed type shits. My grandfather would be in like kind of against the wall. I'd be across from him on the twin bed, and either that or my grandma would be there, and then I would be on the other side of the room, and then my tia Mago would be in the next room over. But we didn't have like no doors, so it was like it was like hall, like kind of like the sala, and then kind of like a door that went through, and it just had all this open space. So you go into one room, the next room, and then you come out to the sala. And that's like, you know, but it's small as fuck. So it sounds big, but it's not. It's just like, you know, the sala, one room this way, but it kind of looks like two rooms, and then one room this way, and then you come back. And then my grandma was right there by the bathroom. I mean, my tia Mago was right there by the bathroom. My grandfather, I really wish I could have like, I really wish I was like my cousin Alberto's age, because that fool's like, I think he's like 40 now. He has to be like, I think he's like 15. Yeah, he's like in his 40s. Yeah, that's crazy. He's like in his early 40s. And out of all like my cousins from my mom's side, he's the oldest. And then it's Jose. Jose's like, I think 11 or like Alberto has to be like fucking like 14, 15 years older than me, and then Jose has to be like 11 or 12, and then it kind of like, it drops off a little bit from there. I'm like kind of like on the baby side, so it's fucking, fuck, I don't want to say names. Does it even matter? Do you guys even care? I don't know. So it's Alberto, Jose, Annette, my sister, my other cousin. Let's see. Who am I forgetting? Am I forgetting nobody? Then me. Then my cousin Jasmine, Alexa, and fucking Andres. So fucking, yeah. I think there was only 9 grandchildren out of from. That's crazy. From my grandma's side. So she had 6 kids. 9 grandchildren. It's a big family, dog. We've never, and what's crazy is like all of our cousins, like all of my cousins from my dad's side, we've all been together. Even from like the other, like the step families, we've all been together like numerous times. You know what I mean? And then on my mom's side, none of us have all been in a room together. None of us. I think the only time, like the closest we've ever gotten to being together, I think is like Jose, Annette, my other cousin, me, and then my sister. Like fucking, not all 9 of us have never been together in the same room. Andres is fucking. What's crazy is like Alberto. Like let's just say Alberto's like, if he's 15 years older than me, I think he's 43. So if he's 43, Andres is like 17. That's crazy, dog. They're like 30 years apart. That's fucking wild. But, you know, it's like the family dynamics is like really interesting, like between families, because there's just so many different like nuances, and like my tia Chapina and her kids are the only ones in Mexico. The rest of us are over here, you know, in America. That's another reason why like we've never like, you know, gotten together. I don't know if Alexa has been in this house, but I know Andres has like a few times. And I've given him like all my shoes, like not all of them, but like I've given him like 35 pairs of shoes. I lost count, like at least 35, 36, 37, some shit like that. Almost 40 pairs. You know, I've given him like, at first I gave him all the Fugazis, then I started giving him like the good shit, New Balances, Jordan. I only gave him like 1 pair of Jordans. I forgot what else. Some boots, you know. He's gonna be a big kid. He's gonna be like a fucking sequoia, bro. Like that fool's gonna be like what do they call them? Like general, what's it? It's like the oldest tree in existence and shit. It's like the tree of life from Avatar or whatever the fuck. The general mushrooms or some shit like that. I don't know. But let me see. I think they knocked my Pokemon out of this shit right here. Hold on, dog. Let me see. Da 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 da. I think I know which Pokemon they got out. They knocked out. Yep. Oh no. What? Sneak attack, surprise attack. I knew it would be this fool. I'm gonna chip you off, dog, as soon as we get this fucking shit going. As soon as I get off this, your ass is grass, homie. Pause. Going back to my sister, man, on the dinner shit, it was kind of like I did not want to be there. Like, you know, she has like a whole mask, you know, like the people who like suppress their emotions, like they're fucking Sith Lords or whatever. Like, I hate that shit. Or like Jedis or whatever. Like, you know, you get around people like that and it's like, I don't want to be around you. Like, you know, I'm not saying this like I don't mean to say this kind of like I don't want people thinking like I'm shitting on her or whatever, like, because it's just we all go through those family dynamics, you know what I mean? And it's one of those things where like I just don't like being around my fucking sister. And it's not, I'm not trying to you know, be on a smear campaign and shit like that. It's just one of those things where like kind of like I don't understand like what it is, because and this goes back to like when I was in college, like learning about the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. You know what I mean? There's people like that where they're like, it's fixed, like they'll never fucking change. Kind of like the zodiac signs. It's either fixed or it's progressive. You know what I mean? You do kind of like have those blurry fucking little lines. More people are more mutable than others and shit like that. But you know, there's people that will never change. Like no matter how old they get, no matter fucking how no matter what they experience in life, they'll always be the same fucking person. And that's not a good thing. You know what I mean? Like some people be like, oh, like I never changed, I never switched up. Why? Change is good, bro. Like, do you understand? Like, to be the same person I was, if I was the same person 5 years ago, I'd be fucking dumb. I'd be a moron. I'd be a caveman status Neanderthal. You know what I mean? Like, I was just fucking, bro, 5 years ago at this time, I wasn't sober. I was drinking a lot. I was smoking a lot. I feel like I go through this every week, but you know what I mean? We're talking about the progression and the growth of a person. And we don't go through those things when you don't learn the wisdom. First, you got to do the knowledge. Then you got to get the wisdom and then the understanding. If you don't go through 1 and 2, you're never going to get to the understanding. You got to do the knowledge. Some people ain't even doing that. Some people don't want to do the knowledge because they're more comfortable in their ignorance and their arrogance than they are in their growth. And it's fucking like unbelievable to me. You know, that could never be me. That like in my core, in my bones, in my whole fucking get down, in my whole archetype, my soul, my spirit, I'll never be fucking stagnant. I'll never be one of these people like, oh, I'm a fucking stay the same. I'm gonna never change. Fuck that shit. I'm gonna change, bruh. Cause it's like I was a moron. I was just an idiot. I wasn't getting no money. You know what I mean? Like, it was just my hustle wasn't there. I was just comfortable being a fucking lump on a stump, bruh. And it's one of those things where you gotta look within yourself and change. I can't tell you how many people I've met, and it's just like, I could look at you and you're gonna be who you are at this very moment in 5 years. In 5 years, I ain't gonna look like this. I'm going to tell you that right now. You know how I'm going to look? I'm going to look way more successful, way more richer, way more handsome. You know what I mean? I'm fucking stunning now, but I'm like level 5. You know what I mean? Just wait till I get a fucking level 6, bruh. Then it's going to be on some different shit. You know what I mean? And not to say it like, oh, I'm on this level, you're on that level. But it's just life is in stages. And the more you go through these stages and you grow through these stages, the better you are as a person. When you always are just mopey wopey, when you're always just in a fucking funk and you are just stuck on you, in my mind, you're always gonna be like this. These are the type of people that are out here where they're just, this is how I see you and this is how you'll always be in my mind. Fucking, that's crazy, bro. Because like every day I try to give people the benefits of the doubts. Like, okay, like, I you know what I mean? Like clocking them, like, oh, okay, like you're a fuck face. Get away from you. But you do have those flashes of moments of what do they call that? Of realization, or like, you know what I mean? You got them flashes of like genius, you know, where you're like, okay, you are cool to be around at this moment. But there's gonna be somewhere along the line where I'm not gonna want to be around you for whatever reason, because you're gonna fuck that up. Because it's like, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when with some people. And it's just like, people don't even realize that. People don't even see like how silly, how stupid, like the whole get down is, the whole mentality, you know what I mean? And I just clocked that shit. You know, I feel like we're gonna get into some astrology right now, but me, I'm a fucking, I pride myself, like the way I've been like breaking my whole shit down, I'm a super Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn stellium. I'm fucking Capricorn to the max power Capricorn, right? But there are certain different astrological energies in me that kind of make me think and feel a certain way, going to me feeling like I'm like a Gemini, Taurus, Scorpio moon. Why? Because in Vedic astrology, for those who don't know, Eastern astrology, Jyotish fucking astrology, on the West over here, we're only looking at your sun sign, right? You were born on, you know, like me in January. Okay, so you're a Capricorn. All right, but that's you in a nutshell. Like, that's you, like, in general. But then you got, like, Eastern astrology, where they're believing, they get down, like, with a fucking microscope of how you are as a person. And so it's kind of like, I'm a Gemini moon, but I'm, like, leaning more on the Taurus side, and the moon is exalted in Taurus, the moon is exalted in Taurus. That's like the best position your moon can be. But I have my moon opposite my Pluto, which makes me like real mercurial in the way I think and shit, and just the way I perceive people. Like, you know what I mean? I get like down, like real, like psychologist, like where I just break people down and I just clock certain things. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I don't like somebody, I'll start in my mind taking mental notes of what I don't like about this person and just look out for them. Like, oh, like you like to fuck people over, so let's see like when I'm gonna get a turn on that fucking wheel. And it's happened. Like, oh, okay, like I was just waiting for that. Like, oh, okay, like you could be nice to me all you want, but like you're gonna try to fuck with me at some point, and here it is. You know what I mean? It's not a surprise. I was actually anticipating on you being a fucking moron because I clocked you a long time ago. You know what I mean? Some people, if they feel like if they can't beat you, they'll join you type shit like that. You know what I mean? Like if they feel like they can't fuck with you, they'll try to like be cool with you because they see other people are cool with you. Or in my situation, it's me. Like a lot of people love me and they see that, oh, if they hate on me, then they just look that much more like a hater. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to fucking toot my own horn or any of that shit. Pause. But you know what I mean? It's just certain things like, you know, that I clock about people, and it's just funny. So, yeah, we're at 38 minutes. It's whatever. I had all this other like wrestling shit I wanted to go through and shit. I don't know. Maybe I'll do another episode. Maybe I won't. But as kind of like a little rocky, like right now I'm in a little rocky stage of my life, but honestly, like I'm making the most out of it. I'm making good music. I just made like a fucking fire ass beat last night. I was showing some of my coworkers. It was fucking tight as fuck. You know, I was just talking to fucking Mufasa. He's gonna be here soon, so I'm excited for that. And you know, I'm just kind of like, I'm real grateful, you know. The whole accident shit, it kind of like it fucked with me. It still kind of fucks with me now, but it's just what it is. Like what it is I'm going through shit right now, a little bit financially, a little bit, not nothing too crazy, just like, you know, reality check, you know. But I'd rather be going through that than be fucking dead, you know. So get in an accident, my grandma passes away, this whole shit, working a lot. So I feel like it just dogpiled on me today, and I just had to go to sleep. I feel like I was asleep for like an hour and a half, at least an hour for sure. But honestly, like, now I gotta take care of, even more shit. I don't want to go up here and start listing them and shit, but this was a very therapeutic episode for me. I'm glad I kind of got some of this shit out. I would say, though, the message of the day is keep your priorities in order. There's a lot of fat in our lives that kind of like takes us away from what our priorities are. I'm chilling out on the sneakers. Why? Because, I got a new whip. My insurance is going up the fuck up. And, I got to tighten up. Those are my priorities. Sneakers and shit, or clothes and all that shit. It's a luxury. So priorities over luxuries. We all want luxuries. But honestly, bro, once you take care of all your priorities, anything else besides that is a fucking luxury. You going out to eat. You fucking... being able to spend like to me, luxuries are like the more I spend time with, like my pops is like number one to me. But I don't want to like throw like exclude my mom. You know what I mean? Like, I love my mom. Kind of like with her, it's kind of like I love my mom to death, but she annoys me. She pisses me off sometimes. But that's every mom. Every mom is supposed to be on you, and they just love you and they want to look out for you, and that's fine. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna shit on my mom. Like, it's so funny because I was just talking about this with my coworker yesterday, like, or the other day or something. Like, my mom really thought when I first started rapping, I would be like talking shit about her, like Eminem, like, oh, I'm sorry, mama, I never meant to hurt you. Like, nah, man, I didn't even talk about you for like my whole career. I didn't even start talking about my mom till like Green like fucking like 4 or something, which was like 2 years ago. It was one of those things where, like, when you first start off rapping, you are like kind of basically figuring out how to rap. Then you start getting good at figuring out what it is you're good at. And for me, it's always been the personal shit, whether I talk about the girls that I like, family issues, or just whatever. Like, my personal life, like, that's my strong point. I'm trying to kind of like mix that with like, punchlines, bars, and other shit like that, and kind of get out of my comfort zone. But obviously my bread and butter when it comes to like my penmanship is definitely fucking talking about like what I'm going through. And not only does that help me, but that's the best music. Like, I'm the best artist when I'm in that element of like personal, deep, dark fucking like, issues in my life, and just bringing them out there. Because we all have that shit. We all have like issues or whatever. And like, we need to get that out and exercise that in some way. And going back to like priorities and luxuries, it's like, okay, my priority is I have to put food on the table, for the family. If not for the family, for myself first. Then you can't take care of nobody else before you take care of yourself first. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, knowledge of self. We take care of our priorities, then we can focus on our luxuries. This is the God's Hour.
Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower, to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower, to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower, to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower, to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. You wet Prada, the devil like inside your box now, while the angels fly over my headstone.